Hi, everyone. I'm Anita Sharma for AnewZ. We're here in Paris, France at the spring meetings of the IAF. Very pleased to be joined by Eric Stallmer. He is the EVP of Government Affairs and Public Policy with Voyager Space, based in the United States. Eric, very good to see you here at the spring meetings. I see you liaising with your colleagues. What are your key takeaways thus far, and how are your meetings going with everyone?
Well, one, it's great to see you as well. Been great catching up with you. Always enjoy coming here because, one, you're connecting with a lot of your colleagues from all over the world. So there's so many different panels and focus groups that we're working on. It's good to kind of get caught up with the trends that are going on, the subjects, and the areas that we should be looking and focusing on in the near future, and especially for the upcoming conference in Australia in a few months.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit, or a lot, about Voyager Space. What's occupying your time right now? What innovations are you finding terribly exciting and just moving you full speed ahead?
Well, the great thing, for the positive challenge is that we continue to grow. We've been growing at a rapid rate since the company was founded in 2019, and we have done, I believe, 9 acquisitions to date.
Wow.
And part of doing those acquisitions is that you have to integrate the companies and the products and everything. And I think we're getting a really good grasp on what we have, the products that we have, the talent that we have, and where the business segments that we're moving in. So a lot of that is commercial space, but it's also national security and defense that we're looking at it as well. So, and from the commercial space, we're looking at commercial space station, the CLD program. From the national security side, it's a lot of the technology that we have, a lot of like in-space technology that we develop for spacecraft, as well as technology for like missile defense, things of that nature. So I'm never short for work and opportunities to excel.
I would say especially right now. Let's stay with national security and defense. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the current geopolitical climate, potentially crisis. How is Voyager Space navigating all of this? Is this at all changing your workflow, your initiatives, your projects?
Yeah, we're upbeat, about the idea that there could be peace, with Ukraine and Russia. I think that's gone on a while, too long on both sides, but certainly feel for the Ukrainians on that. I think what we're looking at is there's always threats out there. And as much as we yearn for peace and we strive for peace, there are threats out there. And I think Voyager offers some great technology that can help assuage those threats and contribute to not just the U.S. security, but global security around the world, and that's what our goal is.
Are you all having increased meetings in this regard, perhaps with government officials? Are there more discussions given the current state of events?
The new administration has in the U.S. Has been putting a priority on a greater national missile defense system, the Golden Dome system. And everyone's trying to figure out what exactly that is. It seems like a system of systems, but we think we're very well poised with the technology that we have in the areas of engine technology and propulsion technology that we have on programs like the NGI with Lockheed Martin and a few other programs like that. So, as that evolves, we obviously have our ear to the ground and working with the administration and with Congress and the various agencies, that where we can be a provider for that kind of technology.
So you all are very, very busy in those areas. Most certainly, I understand you perhaps are busy too with an initial public offering. There are reports that Voyager Space is going public imminently.
I heard that's out there. We are looking at all options. Different funding options like that. And I think the growth of the company, puts us in that path. But, I think it's a timing thing, and we're just, feeling what's going to be best for Voyager and for our shareholders as we move forward.
Okay, so we're here in Paris. Let's bring it back home to where we are right now. You're engaging. I can see you liaising with all your colleagues here. What do you think the ideal relationship is between industry, government bodies, and just the community at large? What's an ideal relationship for you?
Well, I'm a huge fan of the public-private partnerships.
Okay.
I've seen it work, at NASA. I've seen it work, especially from the launch industry, from the commercial space industry where I come from, on commercial cargo, commercial crew, and then other programs, how NASA, and other, government agencies, international government agencies, space agencies are really counting on the commercial sector for a lot of the innovation that's out there.
Yeah.
The old way of procuring items is the old way, and we're looking at a much more agile acquisition systems, and with that commercial mindset in place. So a lot of the liaison and the talking that we're doing it with is with all these various government space agencies that are all here today. I get my fill of NASA. I get to the privilege to work with NASA back in Washington, but here's an opportunity to work with a lot of the European, the Asian countries, and all over the world that come here as we kind of pre-convene before the much larger show. I call that I often joke, there's the Super Bowl of space shows is in Colorado in a few weeks, but the World Cup of space shows is the IAC.
Interesting.
And so I think you really get a flavor of all the different international partners that are out there. And that's how I think we should be doing business. Voyager thinks globally. We just don't think domestically. So that's where we see the growth in our industry is globally.
And that really is the essence of it all, right? Like, I see everyone here discussing in a collaborative sort of environment, key initiatives, key innovations moving forward. Sure, you're based in the United States, but the community is a global one, right? It has to be.
Well, one of the big projects that we're working on at Voyager through one of our companies is called Starlab. It's a commercial space station, and we modeled this, set the business plan up with Starlab, looking at it from an international or global perspective. We see the ISS, and we think the best part about the International Space Station is the international aspect of it. So when we put together this joint venture, the first thing we did was look for our international partners that we wanted to work with. So we went to Airbus, which kind of represents a lot of the European perspective. We went to Mitsubishi, leader, global leader, in what they do and how they can be a part of us. So they're part of it as well. MDA of Canada, who have a rich history, with the robotic arms, in space, as you know very well.
Yeah, go Canada.
Yes, and our friends, very good friends from the north.
Thank you.
And then other, companies like Palantir, which is, global leader in artificial intelligence and software. Even Hilton Hotels is a partner of ours, which some people find that unique. But think of the experience that Hilton has in the hospitality business and the creature comforts that you're going to need for long duration space flight. So we're touching all those bases, and doing so, we're touching all the different corners around the world.
As far as the international component goes, just again in the conversations I've been having, as you know, Baku hosted the IAC in 2023 in Azerbaijan. I was speaking with the executive director, and he said, look, there's been a lot of key developments coming out of just that, and even a heightened interest from that region now to participate in space initiatives, in space innovations. It really is critical, right, to have people around the world contributing to this global effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, historically, the presence on the ISS has been mainly a European contingent. And with, also the Japanese have had, a few astronauts. But we want to see, there's countries all over the world that want to have their own astronauts. And we want to help facilitate that, and these up and down trips back and forth to Starlab that will enable countries, sovereign nations to have their own, their own crew of astronauts.
That's incredible.
Doing research, real meaningful, deep research in space for an extended period of time.
What excites you most about the industry right now? I mean, there's such a heightened, there's so much activity now, especially with the commercialization of space. What's your key takeaway? What excites you most about this area?
Well, I'm pretty jazzed up about, the commercial LEO destinations. And, NASA's going to be making their decision. They're going to kind of pare down on who's going to win that phase 2. And I think we're very well positioned for that. I think opening up the commercial space market globally is really, a big, that really gets me excited. I ran a trade association for 6 years, the Commercial Space Federation. Was Commercial Space Flight. Now they've rebranded it just to be all things commercial space. And we represent a lot of the domestic new space companies. And what I've seen is how much it's not just domestically growing, but also internationally. Again, here in Europe, they've got a great commercial industry that's really starting to take off, pardon the pun. But also, around the world, in Africa, Rwanda has, a thriving space industry that's getting off the ground. As well as, in Australia, we're meeting with the Australians next. So
that's right, in Sydney.
Fittingly, well, next in like a half hour, but also, but also, in a few months, and where the world will convene down there. So I think it's just exciting how the world's getting closer on these areas and these issues, and how exciting space has gotten. And I think it's directly attributable to the reduction in cost to access to space. It allows you more opportunity to do things and develop things in space if you're not paying tremendous amount to get to space.
And to your point, if it's making the initiative a bit more cheaper, you're able to see perhaps smaller countries with big ambitions enter the space. Again, no pun
Right,
intended,
exactly. Or we could be funny all day. We have a kind of a not-for-profit within our organization called Dream Up. Okay. And one of the things that they do is they facilitate payloads and small sats for students all over the world.
Okay.
And it has been fantastic because, for a small amount of money, like nominal amount of money, you can get, young students involved in building a spacecraft, launching it into space, doing these experiments. And that's just the teaser. That's what gets them in the door, and where they want to have this yearning to go into, engineering and to space flight, operations and things like that. I saw some young folks the other day in our office. They had a payload that was going up to space, and one of our younger engineers, probably like 24 years old, was teaching these even younger guys all about the different aspect of the spacecraft that was going up and what it's going to do with the mission and how to deploy it and everything. And it was just so exciting to see that level of commitment by young people and excitement that they're experiencing right now.
The startups are key contributors, right, to innovation. I would think that a company like Voyager Space really looks to startups in the industry to get some ideas, perhaps work on some collaborative efforts. How critical is it, Eric, to work with the younger set, to work with the youth, to inspire them to have a career here in the space industry, and then to grab them when they're young?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the level. Well, as I said earlier, the excitement, but the technical prowess that is going on right now at the universities, these opportunities that young people have that they probably didn't have 25 years ago. They couldn't fly a payload into space 25 years ago. You can do that now. So we really look at startups and how we can work with them. Our CEO, Dylan Taylor, he's regarded as one of the most prolific investors in startup companies. I think I've lost count, but it was well over 50 or 60 companies that he's invested in, just because he's that committed personally. He's personally invested because he's that committed into the industry. So I think that bleeds out to the rest of the Voyager culture about investing not just in companies, but in human capital. I think that's the most important thing that we're looking to do, is invest in human capital.
So exciting times for Voyager Space and exciting times for space in general.
our industry's always taken off. Yes, there we go.
Well said. Eric Stallmer with Voyager Space. Thank you for your time, sir. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed the conversation.